Thanks, Kathy, and we're live from Studio 2A with the very talented Justin Towns Earle.
How you
Justin,
doing?
I'm terrific. Thank you so much for joining us here in Tucson at KXCI. You've got a big show tonight at Club Congress with Caitlin Rose and Daniel Romano opening for you.
Yeah.
Doors open at 7 o'clock. We're excited about having you here. We really are.
I'm glad to be here.
I want to talk a little bit about your latest album. Which we're playing a lot here at KXCI, along with the one from 2011, which is one of my all-time favorites, which is Harlem River Blues. But the new one is Nothing's Gonna Change the Way You Feel About Me Now. Can you tell us a little bit about that? I knew you went to western part of North Carolina to do your recording for that.
Yeah, I think that nothing's gonna change was a my image kind of took a drastic change last year, due to some of my actions and I found that a lot of the things that I'd struggled with in life became a lot more clear while I was writing that record. It had nothing to do with the writing, I don't think. I think it just happened to, it just happened that way. So this record was more of it was more of like I'd say an exercise in exercising demons than any other record I've ever made, But I mean, I think that's the thing that you got to do as an artist is find every way to get closer and closer to the bone. As you get closer and closer to the bone. I mean, it's like people always talk about getting to the heart. It's like bones under the heart. Go deep.
Well, I noticed that on your website you refer to this as being more of the Memphis sound than you have had in the past. And I did notice that too.
Yeah, it's something that I started like really seriously wanting to play for a living. I was very much into fingerstyle blues, which is why I still finger pick. But I found myself too, like I started messing around with some of the the formats of soul and like stuff like Ike Turner and the Rhythm Kings and stuff like that, and realizing that I had a lot more fun playing that than I did shuffle country.
Oh, this album is terrific, and it's got some really great songs on it. Would you like to play one of them for us?
Yeah, sure. We'll do Look the Other Way. Mama, I'm hurting in the worst way. I got no money in my pockets, no place to stay. And when I see you out in the streets, never know what to say. Oh, but it doesn't matter, Mama, you always look the other way. Mama, I'm searching night and day. I'm looking for the means to pay for all the wrongs that I've done, for the nights I left you alone and wait. Ah, but I'm always gonna owe you if you always look the other way. I've been a fool, I know. I'm trying to find a way to show you that you're the only one. You're the I forgot the last verse.
We
I'll
would
do-
have
I'll
we
do
would have
some-
never known. I wished our audience could see you picking that guitar with no picks, just the finger picking on it. That's a sight to behold. It really is. It's quite beautiful.
Oh, thank you. I kind of developed an off kind of guitar style from kind of mixing up a guy there's a cat named Malcolm Holcomb he's from North Carolina, and he's really something special. He's one of those rare artists where you really can't figure out where the bodies are buried in a song. So it just comes out of nowhere.
That's terrific. In addition to having 5 CDs of your own that have been released at 31, you've also been very busy too. I know that you produced Wanda Jackson's 2012 album called Unfinished Business. Talk about somebody who has been around for a while and just keeps getting better over time.
Yeah. I think she was working with her was an amazing experience. I think it was also too. I mean, as wanting to do more production work in the future, it was definitely a good proving ground for myself. If you get thrown into the studio with a 74-year-old queen of rock and roll, you got to be very careful how you handle certain situations. I mean, I found that. I figured I might be intimidating to her because I'm tall and it might hurt her neck to look up at me all the time. So I spent about 90% of that recording session on my knees because I was as tall as she was when I was standing on my knees. And so we could look right in the eye. And I think that she, we walked away from it, with a lot of respect for, each other. And like I just saw her on this run in Oklahoma City, and she's just as sweet as can be. She comes to a show and just sits there quietly and watches, and kisses me on the cheek. It's crazy.
Obviously, you're very respectful and reverent of her as well. That's terrific.
Yes.
I want to talk also too about Harlem River Blues, because that is, to me, that's just a masterpiece. And I know that in 2011, you not only were nominated for Song of the Year from that album, but also Title of the Year to it as well.
Yeah, Album of the Year. Yeah, I find that in a lot of my writing, this happened with Midnight at the Movies too. It was kind of Midnight at the Movies was kind of like when I read all the Beat Generation stuff when I was a teenager. It was kind of all that coming back up to the top, especially. My favorite of the Beat poets, which is Gregory Corso.
Wow.
It had a lot to do with his time signatures and things like that. And this Harlem River Blues is similar in the fact that it's really based off of my imagery was Jim Carroll's Basketball Diaries.
Yeah.
Because there's a portion of there's a part of the book where he says that Brooklyn kids showed that they were tough by playing chicken, driving cars at high speeds toward each other, and whoever turns first loses. But Manhattan kids, showed they were tough by jumping off of cliffs into the Harlem River. Like, I'm sure even then, I mean, that was just the early 70s. It wasn't, it wasn't exactly the late 17th century, and the water was clean in Manhattan.
Right, exactly. Oh, golly. How about another song for us, please?
Yeah. Let's see here. What should I do?
Whatever you like.
Let's do one of these. Actually, let's do this one. We'll do a softer song, and radio is always so early. It's like sometimes I hear it and I'm like, God, it's like, wow, it's a lot slower. And this one's slow anyway. I hear my father on the radio singing, "Take me home again." 300 miles from the Carolina coast, and I'm skin and bones again. Sometimes I wish that I could get away. Sometimes I wish that he just called by that lonely tonight. I don't know. Now there's just something in a night like this that can be so hard to take. Oncoming headlights through a mountain mist. They're too close for comfort and too much at stake. So turn the radio down and roll the windows up and say to myself that I thought I'd be a better man. Sometimes I wish that I could find a place where I don't feel so all alone by that lonely tonight. I don't know. Sometimes I wish that I could find a place where I don't feel so all alone. Am I that lonely tonight? Am I that lonely tonight? Am I that lonely tonight? I don't know. I don't know, baby.
How beautiful.
Thank you.
Wonderful. Thank you so much for that. You've been getting a lot of praise. The papers, the web, even a young group themselves from England, the Mumford and Son, speaks very highly of you as well.
Yeah, it's been pretty crazy. It's things just changed for me over the last year. You know, it was definitely Letterman had a lot to do with it.
Right.
Mumford had a lot to do with it. You know, it's like Rolling Stone kind of making me and Jack White kind of butt heads was kind of had something to do with it. It was but I think that like I've always like it's like I've worked hard over the last 5 years, and it's like nothing's guaranteed in this business, and so I'm very grateful to be where I am. I think it has a whole lot more to do with luck and timing than it does with talent. I
don't
think
know.
no matter
You've got
how
a lot
much
of talent
you have, it's like you still got it's luck and timing's still going to be about 80% of why you're where you're at.
Exactly. Well, you've got a good head on your shoulders too, Justin, and we really, really appreciate you stopping by KXCI and talking to us and filling us in and on what you're doing. Nashville's home now, isn't it? If I remember right.
It is. Nashville's home. I'm back home. Taking care of my mom. She needs a little looking after, and so I'm gonna try to get her taken care of over the next couple of years, and hopefully I'll be able to move back to the city.
Oh, that'd be wonderful.
Yeah.
I know that Harlem River Blues. There's a lot of intimate love for New York City there in that song, in that album as well.
New York definitely changed my life, my outlook on life, my outlook on everything pretty much, and I love being surrounded a city where everybody. You don't ever sit down at the bar and half your friends are complaining about their record deal that didn't go through, or how this, so and so screwed them. You're sitting at the bar with my particular bar has got the head of the MTA, a guy who's the other guy on the sitting next to me is super 2 buildings on Avenue or on 10th between A and B for the last 35 years, so he can tell you some amazing war stories. And everybody's up to something. Everybody's hustling because you can't afford to not. You'll be in Jersey before you know it.
You've got a wonderful sense of humor to top it all off of being very talented. Club Congress tonight is 7 o'clock. doors open. The amazing Justin Towns Earle will be there tonight, opening with Caitlin Rose and Daniel Romano. Should be just a terrific show. Justin, thanks again for joining us so much. Really,
Thank you.
Please come back and see us when you're in Tucson again.
We will for sure.
That'd be great. All right, let's go back to Kathy with the home stretch.